Okay, welcome to part 2 of the solutions video. So here we are aiming to make 4,320 a product of its prime factors. So we'll start off by dividing it by 2. So we should have 2 and 2, so 2 times 2,160. So 2 is a prime number, so we can circle that one. Let's divide that by 2 again, equaling 1,080. Perfect, and we can divide that by 2 again, equaling 540. And again, we can divide that by 2. So now we've got 270. And we can divide that by 2 again. And then we've got 135. So we know that's got a 5 on the end, so we could divide that by 5. So we would have 5 times 27. We know the 5 is a prime number, so we can circle that. 27, so we know 3 is a prime number, and we know that 3 times 9 is 27. And then 9 is 3 times 3. Okay, so that's what your tree should have looked like. But then we can obviously just add them to get, we can, well, make them indices, okay? So we'd have 2 to the power of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 3 to the power of 3 times 5. So I'm just going to rub that out and then show you what it should look like written as a product of its primes instead of as the tree, because I've run out of room. So we should have, like I said, 2 to the power of 5 times 3 to the power of 3 times 5. Okay, but it is always good to do the tree first, and then obviously you can work it out from there. So now it says work out 32 times 22. Okay, so we'll do it like this because I know that's the way you prefer to do it. So 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, and then for the second row, got to add our 0 because it's in the second column. 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 3 is 6, okay? So now we just add those together. So we've got 0 plus 4 is 4, we've got 4 plus 6 is 10, and we've got 6 plus 1 is 7. So we should have 704 there as our answer, which I've just written for you like that, because obviously we were having a few issues, again, with space. So question number 12. So we've got 330. Oh, we're running out of battery. That's not good either. Let's pause. Okay, we are now back on charge. So we'll do it the same way we did. So we've got 330 times 54. So first one is 4. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 3 is 12. And then 4 times 3 is also 12, but remember the 1, so you've got 13. So we've got 1,320 as our first one. Next one up is 50, so we're going to pop our 0 there because we're already in the tens column. So we're going to do 5 times 0 is 0, so we're going to write 0 there. Then we've got 5 times 3, which is 15, so we'll have to carry that little 1 over here. We've got another random line, useful. And then we've got 5 times 3 is 15, but plus that 1 is 16. So we've got 16,500. So again, all we need to do is add those two together, and we've got our final answer. So the final answer would be 17,820. I don't know why all these lines keep appearing, so I'm sorry for that. So moving on, we want to express 0.58 as a percentage. So we know that decimals are in essence out of 100, so we can just pop 58 on top of 100. And then we know that is a fraction. And once I've got it as a fraction over 100, I know that I can just take the numerator. Okay, so that would make it 58%. Next one then says express as a percentage 7 over 25. Now, as I just said, all percentages are out of 100. So I need to make my denominator out of 100. So I've already got 25. So what do I have to do to 25 to get that to 100? Well, I have to times it by 4 to get 100 on the bottom, which is what I want. And then I've got to do the same to the top as the bottom. So if I times 7 by 4, I'm going to get 28. So now that I've got 28 over 100, I know that I can just take my numerator and pop a percentage after it, and I've got 28%, which is indeed the correct answer. So next up, we've got what is the 7th square number? So as we've said, a square number is just itself times by, so the number times by itself. So the first square number is 1 times itself. So the 7th square number would be 7 times by itself. So 7 times 7 is 49. So that's the 7th square number. Now a prime number for question 16, as I've told you, a prime number is a number where it is only divisible by itself and the number 1. And the 6th of these is number 13. Next up, we're finding 20% of £160. So we're going to find 10% first of all, by dividing that by 10. So if I divide 160 by 10, I get £16. So then if I want 20%, all I've got to do is times that by 2. So that would equal £32, okay? So that would be my 20% there. Now this one's a little bit more confusing, but remember we said we always chunk them. So if I want 70%, let's start out by finding 50%. So 50% is the same as finding half of something. So half of 580 is 290. Okay, so if I've got 290 and that's 50%, now I need to find my 20%. So if I now move on and attempt to find 10%, remember I just have to divide by 10, so that would be £58. And then I know that I need another 10%, so I need another £58. So now I can see on the left hand side, 50 plus 10 equals 70. So all I've got to do is add these up on the side, so 290 plus 58 plus 58, and I will have achieved my 70%, which I've run out of space. So I'm just going to tell you that if you add those up, then you would come to the grand total of, if you had your pen on, 406, okay? So you should have 406, not with the weird line that seems to have appeared on my board, but £406 is 70% of 580. Okay, last but not least, we've got some circles, and we're going to find the area and the circumference of them. So for number 19, I want the area. So if you remember, the formula for finding the area was pi r squared. So it tells me that the radius for this circle is 12. So I need to do pi times 12 squared. I know that 12 squared is 144. So my answer would be pi 144. Remembering that I don't need that times, okay, in between them. The next one says calculate the circumference of a circle with the radius 4 centimeters. So we learnt this, the formula for finding this was pi times the diameter. Now it only gives me the radius, but I know that the radius is half that of the diameter. So to find the diameter from the radius, I'm just going to have to double it, okay? So therefore my answer would be pi 8 centimeters, okay? Because I would have to do pi times the diameter, and the diameter of this circle is double the radius, which is 8 centimeters, okay? So I should have pi 8 centimeters as my answer for question 20. So make sure you've corrected those that weren't quite right, and awarded yourself a mark out of 20. Have a lovely weekend.